Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary, and it is my absolute esteemed pleasure and honor to introduce this morning um, somebody who has inspired a lot of people, somebody who has been a catalyst for a lot of people right here in this community. Jessica, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Wow, Jess, I have to say that your name comes up a lot, a lot. And you know where it came up a lot at? Was at our mastermind here that we just had.
Mm,
Your name came up a lot. And you know what? In a positive way, in the kind of context that you inspired many of these, both men, but many women,
mm.
including Jess, the women who spoke on stage at that mastermind.
Yes, they all
I,
FaceTime me
yeah,
after the mastermind.
yeah. So, wow, it's like so good to have you here this morning, and thanks for sharing more time with us. This is
No
your
problem.
multiple times on the show. I know now. I think you used to
I
sit
think
in your
it's my
car,
third.
didn't you?
I think it's my third.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't you used to sit in your car or
One time I did
okay.
because all the kids were home.
Yeah.
And again, it always seems to be like a Christmas break or something that I end up on here. But
Yeah.
yeah, I had to hide
So,
out.
so what when you've been doing this now, I think the first time you were on the show was well over a year ago.
Yeah, I started actively with Legendary in July of 21.
Okay. So here we are, July, so basically a year and a half ago.
Yep, it was just 18 months like last week. Yeah.
Okay. How is life different today than it was 18 months ago?
It's totally different because the whole not trading time for money and being in control of my income and scaling my income when I choose to, and also helping others learn to do the same. Um, it's kind of a whole new world. It's a whole new way of life once you kind of dive into that.
Yeah, yeah. So you were, just for people that don't know your backstory, you were, are no longer, right, an esthetician of 12 years. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
I was an esthetician for 12 years. I loved that job, but it was again, trading time for money type of thing where you're not in control of your own income and your hours and things like that. So, yes, no longer. I left that about 2 months after I started doing affiliate marketing.
Now, was that because you had replaced your income already? Was that because you didn't have the time to do everything? I know you also have
Five.
five, five
Yes.
kids
We have
plus a
five.
husband, plus
Yeah.
a husband.
He's he's
Holy.
he's child number 6 or child number 1, depending on how.
So what was the reason why you left 2 months into starting this? Had you already replaced your income by
I
that
had
time?
already replaced my income. I had kind of mastered the whole like content part of it. Um in the beginning, I was like there's no way I'm putting my face on social media. I'm not that person. I can't do it. And then I was like, you know what? If I'm going to do it, it's you got to go like all in. And I did.
Mm,
And some of the content, like I'll randomly scroll back to the bottom of my TikTok, and some of those original videos are like, I want to hide. It's
yeah.
like crazy. But you start somewhere. And if you
Yeah.
don't make the content and put yourself out there and kind of build your own little brand, you're not really going to go far. And so doing that really paid off. And I was able to replace my income very quickly and then scale it.
So it's nice to hear that you who, have really kind of mastered this content piece. And the really cool part about mastering content and mastering video marketing, which is really
Mhm.
your specialty of kind of content creation
Yeah,
or traffic generation, right? Is
absolutely.
now video marketing. And it has been video marketing for as long as you've popped up on my radar.
Hmm.
And to hear you say that you were like, "No way am I gonna get on video," is a little bit of a shocking statement.
Yeah.
How paralyzed by anxiety were you? How,
It
like, how did
it
you
wasn't
work
that I had
through it all?
anxiety about it. It was that like it's just not something that was in my comfort zone. It was
Yeah,
not something I ever thought that I would be doing. Going from never making money online, being in a service-based business,
yeah,
it just wasn't something that was ever like on my radar in my realm of possibilities until I started doing it. And I was like, all right, well, it can't be that bad. Like, there's hundreds of thousands of people who make content on a daily basis.
yeah,
Like, and now part of what I remind myself constantly, like, I kind of go by like the three C's. It's you create consistent content all day long. Like, you have to create consistent content.
holy
That's
smoke,
like, and I just kind of remind myself of that all the time. Like,
keep it
you,
simple.
yeah, you just create the content. Like, you have one job when you do affiliate marketing. It's you have to drive traffic. That's all you have to do.
Yeah,
If you could drive traffic and you could build that, audience, and that's why I like social media and I don't like paid ads, because when you start your account, I have a lot of people who will message me and be like, "Well, did you take your personal account and transform it into talking about affiliate marketing?" And I always say no. Like, I always started from zero,
yeah,
because I want people who care about what I'm talking about, who follow me for that reason. And
yeah,
that's how you build an organic following of people who want to purchase what you're selling.
yeah.
So,
And the other powerful piece of that that is, I believe, true for you is that with now all the craziness with social media accounts out here and probably the new platforms that are going to be popping up, I know it's hard to look into the future, but just trust me when I say that something new is coming, something better than TikTok, something, and I'm speaking to everybody. I don't have a
yeah.
crystal ball. I just know that for the past 10 years, there's always been something that's come along that's better,
Yeah.
is just the way that technology works. And, um, y- you know, uh, the opportunity really has only just begun if you learn the skill.
Hmm.
And it's not the business. This is not MLM. It's
Hmm.
not that you're going to come in and we're going to teach you how to do, you know, home parties for that specific product and all that, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people do that across the country, and that's fine. But the challenge is that if you only learn how to sell that one product, or you're like in that business and that's your business, what's powerful about this is all of our students become entrepreneurs. They become independent contractors. They become individuals with skill sets
Hmm.
that it does not matter what happens to a company, a product. It does not matter what happens even to the economy. We saw with kind of this
Hmm.
last lockdowns and
Yeah.
supply chain issues that what we're teaching here is both transferable to other niches and industries. It's also scalable, and you mentioned that word a second ago. We
Yeah.
can talk more about that. It's scalable. You can scale yourself and speak one to many, and it's also not affected by the typical supply chain
It's
and
not,
other.
because they're digital products. You
Yeah,
don't need to get them from, and they don't need to ship anywhere. They're just
yeah,
there. They're online.
yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
it's like I don't know where you are now, but I kinda stopped looking for new business models and shiny objects a
Mhm.
long time ago because I realized that there wasn't a better business model. That I didn't need to be a billionaire, being a millionaire was enough,
Mhm.
right? And actually before that, just replacing my income and making a steady, strong 5 or 6-figure income was enough to survive off of, right?
Mhm.
I think we can all agree. But definitely becoming a millionaire. I don't need to become a billionaire. I can make 6 or 7 figures
Yeah.
just doing affiliate marketing, not even getting into selling my own courses, coaching, or
Mhm.
events. And that took me a couple of years to kind of realize that everything that I was looking for was right in front of me
Yeah.
and that the grass wasn't green on the other side. It was artificial turf. How have you dealt with shiny objects and distractions?
So, it's not so much the whole like the shiny object and distraction part of it.
Yeah.
For me,
What's your
it's
what's your
for
nemesis?
for me, it's like creating the content on social media and like being able to take that content and like once you learn those skills,
Hmm.
like you said, you can apply that to kind of any product, right? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter the niche. It doesn't matter high ticket, low ticket. But once you have those skills, you can take that and you can take that short form content and how you were talking about other platforms and, you know, social media apps coming out. There has to be something next coming because everybody is trying to compete with TikTok.
Yeah.
And so if you can just like for me it was just mastering the content. Like I
Yeah.
knew that I was going to stick with affiliate marketing. I knew that, you know, digital products were the way to go. Once I made that first commission when I wasn't actually working and really saw that okay, this works.
Yeah.
It was like a little light bulb went off and
You
that
flip the switch and it's
yeah,
like you haven't looked back.
no.
Yeah, and
No.
your results speak, you know, I know that you've got lots of different products that you either are promoting or have
Mhm.
promoted, but even here at Legendary as an affiliate, you're something X platinum.
Mhm.
What are you now?
I'm about to hit 4
Okay. So that
in
can
in 18 months.
in 18 months. Yeah. So
So,
I mean, without, you know, even talking about more of your personal finances in your
mhm.
personal business finances, that alone, knowing that information alone to hit Forex Platinum in 18 months is the only way that happens is that you do what you say you do right
Mhm.
now, which is that, yeah, I committed and I never looked back.
Mhm.
And I think that the starting and stopping, there was a speaker at the mastermind, Alex, the only male besides me, by the way, which was great. Alex Ford from Australia did this wonderful presentation about like the kind of three different personalities. The who can remember what those are and post them in the comments before I say them, I'm wondering. Um, but one was the dabbler,
Yeah.
the stressor was the second, and then the master. And the difference was that dabbler kind of got going and then stopped. And
Mhm.
starting over, you might get some momentum, but that now you're only back to where you were with the last thing you stopped, and then that stops, right? You either get bored or distracted or
Mhm.
just lack that kind of like at the end of the day, there's a discipline that goes along with this. Then
Yeah.
you got the stressor who kind of just might keep going, but stresses everything's a freak out, everything, and it probably takes a lot longer to get where you're going because you kind of stress out about everything instead of just keeping moving forward. And then there's the master who really has kind of mastered the consistency of their daily, income producing activities. Where would you say that you're at in that kind of in those 3 categories, and where who did you start out as, and how's that evolved?
I would say I went from not really the dabbler because once I decided I was going to do this,
Mhm,
like that was it. I'm a very disciplined person in general.
mhm,
Um because there's things that we don't want to do all the time. You have to do them. It's part of life. And I think so I was never really that. Um and I think the only thing that stressed me was the making the content and the putting myself out there.
yeah,
But now I would say I've definitely ended and scaled to the master where I'm comfortable being on camera and creating short form content. And, you know, right now, especially on TikTok, the content that seems to be doing well is like storytelling content and as well as educational content. And if you can't, you know, master being consistent and creating content that's gonna really attract your target audience,
mhm,
I mean, it's easy to get distracted if you don't see the results from it. And I think being consistent is the only way to make that happen. There's times, even every time TikTok changes their algorithm, like you'll post content that one week will have tens of thousands of views. And then the following week, that same like content sometimes doesn't even crack 1,000 views.
Yeah.
And it's just, it could be frustrating. And
Yep.
you want to be like, what am I doing wrong? But if you're just consistent, like with the algorithm and everything, and you post good content that's, educational and has value,
Yeah.
then you're going to be okay. And eventually you'll see the results and it'll be easier to not be so stressed and kind of become that third personality.
Yeah. Yeah. And what came up for me when you were saying that was how these platforms are always going to keep moving the goalpost.
Yeah.
That's a way, that's business.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
absolutely.
life. You
Yeah.
don't and there's this kind of entitlement that I notice with a lot of us, and it's kind of like, well, okay, I got 5,000 views on that video. Why did I only get 1,000 on this one?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like like
Yeah.
TikTok or or nobody has an answer. Nobody has an explanation, and nobody owes you one,
No.
right? It's a free app.
Mm-hmm.
It's a free app.
Yeah.
Let me say that again. It's my favorite four-letter word. I know you all thought that it was FU. It's not. It's free,
But
right?
there's multiple of those that you take that same short form content and you can then repost on 3 other free apps.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even Pinterest has the Pinterest idea pins, which is
Yeah.
their version of TikTok,
Yeah.
YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, the
Even
whole
Netflix has got they're coming out with
everyone
short
is
form video.
coming everyone is coming after
Yeah.
TikTok. TikTok short form content is kind of eating everyone's lunch.
It
And
is. It
it'll be
is.
interesting to see what happens because Twitter owns Vine.
I
And
know.
now that Elon Musk bought
I
that,
know. That
I
was an
heard they're trying to
awesome platform.
restart that up. And
Do you
that'll
remember
be,
Vine?
huh?
Do you remember Vine?
A little bit.
Yeah,
A
I
little bit.
remember it slightly too, but it was like kind of like the first TikTok in a way. Like it gave you the tools to quickly edit a video down into like a 3 to 5 second, kind of like an extended GIF. Like
Yeah.
it was like it, but it gave you those like kind of simple video editing kind of tools, and
Mhm.
yeah,
It's if they start it up again, it will be, I think, geared more towards TikTok.
without a doubt, without a
So,
doubt.
and who knows what else will come after that.
So can I ask you a question about something that
Yeah.
you said with the kind of what's hot on TikTok right now? I know that you know this, and I know that and I do believe you, and I do also echo that you have mastered this. This is something that your results speak for themselves, and nobody can ever take that away from you and ever argue that. And that's just freaking must feel good. But anyways, um, the the I was giving you those kudos and I forgot what I was going to say. Um, I was going to ask about the story based content. Like you said, that kind of is what seems to be
This
working now.
the storytelling content and kind
And
of
yeah,
like being
say more about that.
personable about yourself.
Yeah,
Just like how it would be like me creating content about how, you know, I have 5 kids and, figuring out how to generate passive income with affiliate marketing has allowed me to have both time and financial freedom. Or how I stopped, my 12-year aesthetics career and decided to change my path and try something new.
mm,
Like, I feel like with the algorithm, like not with the algorithm, but I feel like with organic traffic, your content kind of attracts like your like person, if that makes sense.
mhm,
And so I feel, and those are the people who I feel like speak more, like more vibe with you and your content. And then I feel like you have a higher retention rate at the end of the day.
yeah,
And when you're telling a story and going through something in your short form content, people will watch longer. And
yeah,
when people watch longer, the algorithm pushes it. And, when you engage people to leave a comment for X, Y, and Z, or um, to DM you or whatever, when people start interacting with your content on top of it,
yeah,
like TikTok will push that content out.
yeah. Yeah, and it will give you, you're saying, more of those people who want that type of content.
Yeah.
And to give an alternative example of another type of content, would another type of content that you say would be that is a different style, would be kind of like people who consume the quick little, like, hey, here's two side hustles you could do to make an extra
Yeah.
$50 today. Is that a different? That's not really
I would say just try and mix it up.
mix it up.
I
Yes.
would say if you're posting 3 times a day, one should be educational, one should be storytelling, and by educational would be like what you just said. Here's 2 tips to do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And then a third should be like results based. If you want X, then you need to do X, Y, Z
Yeah.
to achieve X.
Yeah.
Like I always try and mix it up the best I can, but
And I think that's smart, because I think that it's just good to that's a good wide net to cast. And I want to go back to the story content, because it's sometimes people are like, well, how do I tell a story in 15 seconds or even 1 minute? I have people sending me their life stories, and they think that's what I mean. And it
yeah,
is, in a sense. You
just little
have to
snippets.
take, I called it story sound bites yesterday. How does that, because it's got to be a sound bite of a story, and then you got to connect it to the point that you're trying to make. And that's one of
Yeah.
the things that I think you got to start with a point. When you are trying to think of a story, it's like, okay, what's the point that I want to make? And what's something that happened today or at some point in my life that helps to make that point?
Mhm.
Or what happened in your day today or whatever recently that can help you to make a certain point about whatever it is that your topic is. How do you kind of simplify doing story content?
It's just it's easy when it's something that you've lived and it's your own story. Like
Mhm.
it's nothing that's made up. It's nothing that, you can copy from anybody else or that anybody else should be copying from you. It's like the same example I used before. Like, you know, for the moms who are looking for a way to have more time at home with their kids and not work to send their kid from to daycare,
Yeah.
like that's something that I used to do.
Yeah.
Like,
And that connects. That's so different than a here's 2 tricks to make an extra $50 with these side hustles, or here's how to make,
yeah.
$18 an hour working for Apple. Like that
I've
style
noticed
content.
that those videos are starting to get like flagged because that's why I put this and I haven't made like I don't make too many of those. Sometimes it's good to throw one of those in here and there, other ways for people to generate income.
Yes.
But that's why I put this TikTok handle in because my Make Money with Jess is like has that big account warning every time I sign on because it's like one community guideline away from and
Mm,
it's people that will flag those videos because they think that they're not realistic or
right.
people who don't like to think outside the box
Yeah.
or don't know any different.
Yeah.
They don't there's a lot of people that don't realize you can actually make money online.
I
Like there
trust me.
was this
Yeah,
one woman there was this one woman who she DM'd me and was asking me some questions because she lives in a little town and her entire town, she's like, we all just work 9 to 5s. She's like, we don't know what side hustles are. Like, we don't know that like making money like digitally is even a possibility.
yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that just don't know what they have access to, like you said, for free because you could drive free organic traffic with making short form content.
Yeah. And it's a life-changing skill to learn. I think that learning how to create and post video online, there's 3 skills. There's a gentleman who was a wonderful affiliate of ours and client, and is now actually one of our business plan advisors. His name's Papa Don. Some of you might know who he is, but he came with this wonderful, very simple. And we're always looking to the marketing gurus for all the, oh, well, let me touch your marketing robe and just the hems on your robe there, and maybe I'll get some knowledge or whatever. And it's like this guy comes on, he's like, I don't want to insult him, but I don't want to say he's older than he is, but I'm a marketer. I want to add a couple of years just for drama. But no, I think he's in his 70s. And he goes, hey, look, there's 3 skills to this thing. It's reading, it's film and video, and it's going live. That's the skills. And I thought, gee, Papa Don, that's, you know, we've been overcomplicating this thing, and you know, it's true, Jess. It's
Hmm.
like if a human being today can get comfortable on video in creating video, and if they can get comfortable going live like we are right now,
Yeah.
and if they can and if they can improve their writing skills so they can write headlines and they can write emails,
Hmm.
those are the skills you need in the future. Do you agree?
I most certainly agree. And you could take that and you can implement those things into anything. Like
Yeah.
the skills that I learned like from Legendary and doing affiliate marketing, have transferred into my own digital products. And I was able to trademark a few things this year and,
Good for you.
kind of like excited to go down the digital product path and, keep up with Legendary and kind of scale and take those skills that I learned and really I have big goals for
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, it's like you're somebody who deserves everything you have. You came in and got to work, and there's no substitute for that good hard work. There's no and as a mother of five and along with a husband to
Mm-hmm.
boot, um I know what hard work is. I know what commitment is and
Mm-hmm.
consistency. And um, obviously, there's so many things to talk about with marketing, but it sounds to me like the secret ingredient of your success is your mindset. What do people need to hear this morning? Straight talk about the mechanics versus the dynamics, and the fact that Jessica Zion's success is not luck. It's not because you got your funnel set up in a certain special way.
No.
It's because of a mindset that you've developed that keeps you going even when it gets hard. I may be wrong. That's just what I'm picking up and have picked up from
It's just
talking to you
it's
over
just
18 months.
discipline. You have to be disciplined. Like there's a million reasons. I could have made a million excuses and not started. I already had 4 kids. I was about to give birth to baby number 5 2 weeks
Oh,
before I bought the 15-day challenge.
oh.
I had all these reasons where I could have just been like, I don't really have time for this and I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. But
You have an
mentally in
18
my
month
head,
old? You have
huh?
an 18-month-old baby right now?
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah. Well, no, he'll be 2 in February. I had signed up with Legendary like the middle of February and he was born February 26th. I could have made all the excuses in the world. I took that 6
Holy
weeks of
crap.
maternity leave and turned it into like a whole other thing. And then I didn't start right away because we went on vacation to Disney in May. We went away for April break and it was baseball season and my son's on 3 baseball teams. And then we went away to Disney in May. And when we came back, I started building up my content and my drafts and I actively started affiliate marketing the like second week of July. I
Oh.
could have made all the excuses in the world, but like something that I always like teach in my Facebook group and stuff like that for affiliate marketing, which is also something like that goes along with the create content consistently, is like action takers are money makers. You
Mm,
can't sit around and like it's not just gonna fall into your lap. I mean,
mm.
I could still be an esthetician right now.
Yeah.
Like, but instead
I don't know where you'd find the time, Jess. Actually, no, you couldn't. You don't have time. You
No,
don't have
I
time.
honestly I wouldn't have. But again, like taking the chance to learn something new and taking that 6 weeks that I had
Yeah.
of me and my laptop and the baby and the rest of them,
That's
like
what I'm saying, Jess.
it's just but then once you realize that it works, you have to take action and be consistent every day. If you do the same thing every day over and over and over and over, in 6 months, there's no choice but for things to be different.
Yeah.
It's impossible for them not to be if you're
But I
just
mean,
consistent and do the same thing.
forget 6 months. Now knowing this, I don't know that I knew that, and it just adds this whole new dynamic to your story and your journey. that I didn't realize that you were pregnant or about you were 9 basically 2 weeks
Yeah.
away from having your baby when you signed up,
Yeah.
and then you took that 6 weeks to both welcome your brand new baby along with 4 other children and a husband
Hmm.
too, and welcome a new child into the world while you were launching this whole business. I'm,
I built sales funnels while the baby slept. And
yeah, I
now I
mean,
could build one super quick because again, you're consistent and you do the same thing over and over and you have no choice but to get better at it. So,
it's just, you know what I think a lot of our issues are, and especially nowadays with all the hacks and the artificial intelligence, and this person's can do it faster, and the two-step this and the three-step this, and the it's almost everything's a two-step and a three-step, and it's got to be fast and it's got to be quick and it's got to be in the whole work your ass off is that message has kind of been lost. It's not cool anymore. It's not cool to work anymore. Nobody wants to work. It's like and I don't mean that to be like so take some political dramatic stance and be hypey. I just mean that we would all benefit, especially moving into entrepreneurship, by embracing hard work.
yeah.
Like by telling ourselves it's going to be really, really hard. And then if it's not, great.
Hmm.
But it likely there it's going to be hard.
Hmm.
And the journey that you just described to me, although I would guess, and I don't know, but your perspective, you probably didn't view it like this is hard. You probably were like, it sounds like you had passion and energy, and you were taking the feelings, which I can only imagine what a woman feels after she gives birth. But somehow they and there's a lot of women who don't feel well after that, who don't feel their best self after that. Somehow you've been able to consistently also turn your emotion into positive, powerful energy
Hmm.
that you've used to fuel this incredibly busy life. How do you manage and master your emotions?
Um, I'm not the most patient person in the world. I want like here and now. And that's something that I've kind of had to, after having baby number 5 and starting the whole affiliate marketing thing and trying to build my business. And I kind of had to learn how to be patient. But women in general are just, we're determined individuals. Like, we're just, I don't know, not like anything against the men, but we are determined individuals. Like, there's not something that if you want bad enough that a woman can't go get herself. Like, but I don't know, maybe that's just me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're seeing that right now with all of these women who are just absolutely crushing it in our community. And,
Top of the leaderboard was all women the other day. I actually pointed it out to my husband. I was like, look, you see this? I was
and
like,
a lot of that is because of you. I mean, a lot of that is because of your leadership and your like you taking that um you doing what you did in that 6-week period basically. Now I'm understanding more of the full story and understanding what, you really went through to do what you did and then the just the wave, the ripple of
mhm,
impact that has had on
mhm,
people that you do not even know, that you don't even really and I was able to see that and hear that be in person with somebody as they were talking about that, and I just it's so hard to really grasp how big our ripple really can be and how many people it can really affect,
mhm,
but that those decisions that you made in that what you did during that 6-week period, and basically it was an 8-week period because
mhm.
you really started it 2 weeks before you went and
Yeah,
had the baby.
yeah.
That was a defining moment in your life, that 8-week period.
It definitely turned me 180.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. And that goes to show me and hopefully everybody else how fast you can change your life and under what circumstances, under difficult, under any circumstance. And I don't want to be insensitive to circumstances I don't understand, but I've had a lot of conversations, over 600 on this show alone,
Mhm.
with different people. And one thing I'm never, just like I am right now, genuinely shocked and in awe of what we are capable of
Yeah. If you
every
make the
day.
conscious decision every day to be consistent and take action, like I said, I mean, there's no other option but for you to propel yourself forward. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and we've got some comments coming in about people who are, feel, kind of paralyzed by whether it be anxiety or depression or things like that, comparisonitis. I see, there's a lot of. I appreciate you all sharing your honest challenges. Something that I found is when you share it, you put it out there, it loses a little bit of its power. But
mm,
when I keep that limiting belief or that kind of negative thought alone to myself, all inside my own little head, it kind of bubbles in there. It kind of
yeah,
brews and bubbles and festers, and it feels really big and really scary and dominating. Have you found? I was talking with somebody yesterday on the show that creating content has been obviously both profitable for you,
mhm,
but also in a way it's giving you a gratitude for life, or a way to serve others and feel purposeful and useful, and therefore increase your happiness levels. Have you found creating content for your audience and genuinely thinking, how can I help them? How can I serve them?
mhm.
How can I come up with things that are going to make them want to do business with me so I can do you find that that through creating the content, the very thing that was so hard for you to do has actually been positive for you personally to
At
be
the
able
end
to
of the
serve that way?
at the end of the day, 100%, because just like you said, the ripple effect, those people all started because of content that they consumed.
Yeah,
So if it wasn't for me deciding to create the content, those people wouldn't have consumed the content and wouldn't have made the decisions that they made
yeah,
to do what they're doing now. And so I think a lot of people too, I get a lot of messages about um like how do I create content in the beginning because I'm not having $20,000 months or I haven't made X, Y, and Z sales or whatever. And that's where it comes into like the storytelling content a little bit and just like being able to talk about yourself and the journey that and the decisions that you made to like learn something new and the positives. Like everything has positives to it. And people always talk about too, like the whole imposter syndrome thing. To me, on social media, if you can not consume, and this is going to sound like crazy, if you can not consume other people's content, like if you're an affiliate marketer and you can not go on TikTok and consume other affiliate marketing content and just focus on creating your own content and building your own brand, you will get rid of your imposter syndrome because you will not have anybody else to compare yourself to. And the views that you get, even if they're little, like that's how you build up.
yeah,
It's easier to create content when you can focus on you. When you start scrolling and seeing all these other people talking about how they've made this and how they've made that, and they're so much further ahead than you,
yeah.
it kind of like, I don't know, it puts up like a blocker where now you're so focused on what everyone else is doing that you can't create your own content. And it's hard, but
It is
like
hard.
that's
That's one
some,
of the difficult parts.
yeah, like
That's one of the dynamics of this business.
yeah, you can't compare yourself to other people. As hard as it is, you can't do it because it'll squish you like a bug.
Yeah, I mean, I call it comparisonitis. Yeah, obviously that's not
Yeah.
a real diagnosis. That's a word I made up, but it's kind of like scoliosis. It's like the old when that thumb just won't stop. It's I'm stuck. I'm in scoliosis. It's like
Mhm.
um, it's hard though not to do that because I want to look at other people. I want to learn. I need the challenge is I have to find my own voice. I
Mhm.
have to figure out who is the spokesperson and what are they saying in my business.
Mhm.
And I teach this in various parts in the training, but you really have to pick who your spokesperson is. And really, okay, I absolutely it's not going to be me and I'm not putting my face on video. Okay, well, then you have a decision to make. You can partner with somebody or you can create content that has no human being behind it, right? To where it's just a motivational page or something like that.
Mhm.
But at a certain point, yeah, it's about really kind of facing those fears and saying, um, I I can speak,
Mhm.
I can say important things,
Mhm.
I can become more valuable, I can become more interesting, and it's gonna take some time. And I
Yeah.
really need to find my own voice. And I think that, it's kind of impossible for people not to go and look at other people because it's just human nature. But
Yeah.
I still take your point, and I think it's absolutely right. It's like one of the hardest things, and I did the same thing, Jess. When I started, I looked at the one guy who I thought I needed to be like, and I combed my hair like him. I was 24, 25-ish. I mean, I was not the 39-year-old Dave I am today, so I was also both new, but also young and impressionable,
Mhm.
and so I really had that real difficult time finding my own voice and believing that
A
my
lot of
voice
people
mattered.
have that.
Yeah,
But if you could just focus on yourself and the message that you're trying to get out and the brand that you want to create for yourself and like you could think that the content that you're not creating isn't important or but also it could be exactly what somebody needs to hear that day. That's going to help them
and
and help them make a decision to change something in their life.
and you need to hear it.
Yeah.
You need to hear you. I think the most important person to hear your content at the beginning is you. The things that we say out loud are the things that we begin to believe.
Mhm.
They're the things that are the most important things in our life, and they're also the things that people hold us accountable for.
Mhm.
Nobody holds us accountable for our thoughts. What you think doesn't matter. It's safe. That's
Mhm.
why that's why some people are scared to speak up because I'm never held accountable for my thoughts. I am held accountable and my words can move mountains. They really can.
Yeah.
I mean, words can move mountains. I can go and say, I'd like to buy that mountain and I could knock the whole thing down. Words can move mountains,
Mhm.
right? So it's like when we begin to actually speak up, there's a certain risk there.
Yeah.
But the person that we need to impress, the person that we need to impress upon in the beginning is ourselves. To It's sort of like the singer who didn't know they had a voice, right? It's like,
Yeah.
well, she never sang. No, nobody. She was never around other singers, or for whatever reason, she just never sang. But the moment that it was like, "La, la, la, la," and she was like, well, hold on, and then she sang, and then it's like, well, fuck, I got a voice. I feel like, do you feel like that at all, Jess? That it was
I
like,
I
I've
do
got a
because I
voice, and
I
it's
didn't want to create content. I did not want to put myself on video, but that was part of me deciding that I was determined to make this work. And with that determination became me creating content. And then creating content, I started to, get good at it. And also too, like your content doesn't have to be perfect. Just publish it. Just
yeah,
create it. It doesn't have to be perfect. No, nobody is perfect. Nobody is scrolling through TikTok being like, "Oh, well, she didn't like match her lip movements with that sound effect." Like nobody gives one shit. They're reading what's on the screen.
yeah,
Like you don't even have to talk on TikTok if you don't want to. Like people I think overthink the whole content thing And if you just start doing it, even make drafts. Make drafts and save them in your drafts.
Absolutely.
Get comfortable doing it that way. And
Ab-
then when you build up enough where you have like 2 weeks of content, then start trickling them out. And you'll be like, once people start engaging and following you and commenting, and then you start making sales, the whole thing will all start to snowball, and you'll get comfortable with something that you weren't comfortable doing.
yeah. And I love that. I mean, get the camera up, just perform in front of it, practice, practice,
Yeah.
practice, 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 practice. It's like my daughter, you made the comment about your son going to baseball. Well, she does dance, and man, these girls that practice, practice, practice. What'd
Mm-hmm.
you guys do today? I rehearsed my solo. I'm thinking, well, I've done that every day for the past, it's like, but you know what? These kids and her teacher they know what they're doing,
Yeah.
and they're practicing every damn day that same performance. And there's nothing wrong with you, my friends, getting in that batter's box and taking those swings and just practicing. And absolutely, you can hit record. You can even do it right on your cell phone just to get good at talking in the camera. That's a very simple, basic thing that there's nothing wrong with it. And it just getting, for some of us, just getting comfortable holding the phone. I think that, like, for me, like these we give these out. I don't have a legendary one because I go through these quite a bit. They don't always stay on, but right now I've got a Yoda one on. And it's the little thing that I grab, and you got kind of also practice getting comfortable with the phone in your hand like that. Practice getting comfortable holding the phone or using a tripod. And like, all of these things are, I would equate to, probably as your son does, takes a lot of practice swings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just little pieces of the puzzle that all add up to like make it complete. All little things that will in the end make you comfortable. But if you don't, it's the same thing. Like if you don't practice it, you can't learn it. Like my daughter just decided to pick up ice hockey this year, her freshman year in high school. We don't know why, but that's what she decided to do. She was a competitive gymnast her whole life, now
Mm,
playing ice hockey.
mm,
But like freshmen don't get a ton of ice time. So what did her coach do? Set up scrimmages every Sunday against another JV team that you can't get good if you don't practice, if you
yeah.
don't actually take the steps and play the game and skate with the stick at the same time. You're never going to make it to move forward.
Mm.
You have to do like the whole thing to get good at it.
You guys are some great parents. I can tell you got some. You're coaching yourself. I can see that there's an element with you, just to where you've got a way of speaking to yourself, coaching yourself, speaking to yourself positively, powerfully. You can do this, and obviously, I
Mm-hmm.
hear that. I'm confident that you do that with your kids too, and that's why they're involved in all these things. And that the way that we talk to ourselves, and I just want to put a bow on this, because we were just a moment ago talking about, of course, practicing finding that voice and all of the different
Yeah.
things, but it's also how we speak to ourselves.
Yeah.
And when I mess up or feel that I didn't do it good enough or whatever, the way that I treat myself and talk to myself, how I either sit in it or keep moving, is really, really important. And I just sense with you that you don't spend any time kind of contemplating over something you just did. I get the sense that you have kind of built your brain to keep moving forward, fail forward, and
Yeah.
if I and not be too hard on yourself when you do. Are you really hard on yourself and you've had to give yourself more of a break, or do you feel like you've got a nice balance of kind of holding yourself feet to the fire but not being too hard on yourself?
Um, I think having the expectations that I have for myself in my business and kind of the same like work ethic that I try and like instill in the kids is, like you said, like failing forward. And that's why, like, you have to have some sort of discipline with yourself, because, like, otherwise you give yourself too much room to be a dabbler, like how you said before. And you don't want to, I don't want to raise dabblers. I don't want to be a dabbler. I don't want to raise dabblers. Like, and for myself, to me, I have high expectations. So I just always want to master everything.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah, and part of that is probably nature, and part of that can certainly be nurtured in. And I feel that our company and our community is a leadership factory. If you are somebody who's feeling like um, what we're talking about are areas that you need to grow in, you can do that
mhm,
through this process. And
absolutely.
it doesn't require it doesn't it's not going to cost you any more money to grow more.
No,
It's not gonna be any, it's just gonna be
it's gonna make you money
it's gonna
to
make
grow
you money.
more.
Yeah,
It's not
it's gonna
gonna
make
cost
you
you, it's
money.
gonna make you money.
There's unlimited upside,
There,
right, for
there
you to
is.
continue to grow. So, Jess, look, I wanna be sensitive of your time. You got 5 kids, and, you're not somebody that I'm assuming has a lot of free time, and I don't. I've got 2 kids, and a business. So, thank you again. Like, I can't say that, like, enough. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like
I
just
enjoy it. I enjoy
yeah. I mean, just I'm saying thank you from our whole community to you, not just me personally. Like thank you from our whole community, because just the ripple effect
it.
of what you did 18 months ago, now knowing even more about it,
Mm-hmm.
and is it's truly an incredible feat. It's something that I know you are proud, but I want to tell you, you should really be proud of yourself, because it's
Thank you.
really, really awesome. And let me know if I can do anything to continue to support you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you hopefully for a fourth time in the near future.
Yes. Happy New Year's, everyone.
All right. Happy New Year, Jess. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. All right, my friends. Wow. I'm inspired. I am inspired. Today is Friday, my friends. It is Friday. Let's end the week strong. And yeah, the end of a year, the end of a year right now, getting ready to start a new year. Like for real, Monday is going to be a new year. It's going to be the second day of 2023. What an amazing time to reset, to make some big decisions, to make some commitments to yourself. What an amazing time to do that right now. Happy New Year. Be legendary. Get out of here. Peace.